Alright, this is a test of the new camera I got. Try to stay out of the light. But this is also a pinball machine. It's at basically I got without a brain. And I really feel like I should be manually unfocusing practically everything because I have to tell it when to focus, it seems like. And of course it takes 10 trillion years for it to focus. So, right at this spot here, let's see if we can use a little laser pointer. There should be essentially a motherboard, and there's none. Back on the back here, there should be a really old looking power supply with a huge transformer. I have the transformer around here somewhere, but that's not really important because it doesn't really help. I mean, I guess I could figure out what does what and then connect it to something or other, maybe like a capacitor with several fuses, but that doesn't make that much of a difference. And right here you actually at least still have the sound unit, at least mostly intact. There's this little motor that's just lying around. I don't know what that's for. There's a relay missing right there. At least you have this ball kind of hanging around. Oh, I think I had to get that. It's like an old marble. I just had to like sandpaper that thing up just to even make it so it didn't look like it was rusting to death. And most of these solenoids and light fixtures and everything like that are all pretty much in good shape. Seems like everything works on this end anyway. There is, you can get this down with a minimal problem. This is the scoreboard exposed. I can identify all the chips, I just can't identify how it works because I'm not entirely familiar with multiplexers or whatever the heck. I don't remember exactly how that works, but you can see the board. Mostly in good shape. Some of the bits are missing, like the little plastic bits that are supposed to cover certain things, like the bumper over here and there and there. Like these little targets and so on and so forth. Some paint wearing off in this area. And yeah, this is like some slight paint peels a little bit around here and there. It was really dirty when I first got it. I had to really clean it off real good. Certain contacts you can tell, like the button will be like really dirty, like some of these like things that the ball's supposed to be just pass over. Not exactly sure if those switches work properly, but I mean, if it needs to, I can fix it. I also replaced most of these rubber bands except for like this one over here. I don't know why the set didn't come with the full mount. I didn't really care that much though because this one's not in bad shape. It's just a little discolored. And get the ball. But yeah, if you didn't notice, there was also a power supply. I basically gave the pinball machine what I would just call an lobotomy so that it could actually make it function. And let's see if I can get this tripod to work out well enough so I can show you how it works. Well, maybe there we go. I had it on-off switch so that yeah, let me just do a manual adjust on this. Keep good, nice focus. Yeah, I put a new switch in there so I could actually just essentially turn it on and off without having to constantly unplug it from the wall. Especially since our plug has a little bit of an issue. So I've attached essentially the buttons directly up to the solenoids for the most part, except for a couple of them are actually running through relays. And the next step with this will be to just kind of run them through any remaining relays so that hopefully I can make it so that the switches are only running off of 5 volts, because some sparks are flying and you don't want sparks flying all the time in relation to this. The normal credit start button is attached to the ball return too. And if this is good, it'll show that occasionally the light flickers a little bit. I also attached one of the buttons all the way back there to the pop-up, so if you notice that it popped up, that's why. Hoping this thing doesn't stop recording because it did that once already. But experimental film. It's gotta be an experimental film. Basically, like I said, my first step after this is to hook everything instead of just directly to the switches themselves, to hook them up to relays. That way, there's less voltage running through the switches themselves, which will also open up to more possibilities for putting a different brain in it, basically. It would be nice to also attach some of these to the little xylophone in there so that it could make some sound. That was also another thought I had, so that the when it hits like a particular pinball bumper up there, that it would make a certain sound. Maybe. I don't know. There's things. Could happen. There's quite a few different lights in there that you can't really see from here, but like I said, mechanically it looks like everything works. The only thing I really can't test is this bit right here, the scoreboard. It would be nice to get some sort of pin out on the little thing here, and it might be easier to deal with if I can just use the scoreboard it has originally on it, at least, provided it still works. I mean, like, the hardware is fairly simple. Like, some of this stuff is easy enough to figure out, but this stuff in the middle right here, this is a little odd. So, also trying to grab traces when sometimes the traces are going underneath the chips and things like that. That can be a little annoying and rather tedious. So, hopefully this goes through alright. Oh, and I do have the apron for this, so if I can actually get it to work, it might actually look proper, even though it won't have the same brain it had before. Other stupid ideas I've had is trying to find a way to stream a pinball game on this table for no particular reason other than I could, more or less. Because if I tried to, say, put in like a Raspberry Pi with some additional boards to help control other things, might be able to also attach maybe a webcam or two, see if we can get a webcam in the ball return slot, webcam maybe above, no, this one, like one webcam like above the ball, where the ball comes in, maybe just one, maybe focused like right here, up there somewhere, maybe, I don't know. Ideas. Lots of ideas. And at least this sort of explains something about some of the rules of how this works. Because otherwise I might be a little lost, because I haven't really seen a whole lot of footage of how this works. Like, one replay at each score of this, and this explains some basic rules with the spotlight values and stuff. I'd have to read this over again, and isn't terribly important right at the moment, but if I wanted to work roughly similar, then I want to make sure that these rules at least are followed. I just have to figure out what they translate into. So both spotlight values on 4 lights be special. Bottom kickers advance right and left spotlight values. Both spotlight values on 4 lights be special. So, okay. The kickers. Well, that's something I can deal with later. But figured I'd just share this little tidbit for the moment because I kind of had this for a while, and I'm kind of looking to trying to do some more with it because I don't know, boredom, I guess. Because I can. Because I can. I think it's a better answer than anything else. Yeah. At any rate, well, we'll see what happens with this.